What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 69 of EZPZ Podcast. We're popping at you on St. Patrick's Day 2018. Jeez. Well, 7 years ago, I saw Every Time I Die on St. Patrick's Day 2011 in Iowa City, so that was pretty tight. But hey, we're going to have a tight day. Also, we're throwing down a party here at Studio EZPZ. Got a bunch of people barreling through the door here pretty shortly, but we're gonna talk about a bunch of cool stuff. So as most of you know, if you saw our live stream, we had the Datsik situation. We're gonna talk about St. Patrick's Day history, Trump blocking the sale of a U.S. company, and more. But first, joining me this week, Nick.
Pregnant pause. What's up, guys?
Gotta do that pregnant pause. It's the editing thing I told you about. Andrew, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Good to have you on the podcast, man.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah, cool. And we got Colin out of nowhere, emerges from his hibernation for good reason. But I mean, so nice to see you, dude. I'm glad you decided on a whim just to be here.
Yeah, no, I'm glad. I've always talked about maybe being part of the podcast, so,
Yeah. We've been friends for a long time. Actually, I knew Colin before I even met my girlfriend, Lydia, just through Magic the Gathering and Mayhem and stuff. So, yeah, really cool. Really, really cool to have you on. Super cool to have you on, too, Andrew. Yeah, excited to get to know you more and more.
You're never going to get rid of me now. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's part of the group for life.
Yeah, I mean, following Electric Forest, Sydney, your girlfriend's sister, older sister, right?
Yeah.
She was at Electric Forest and she was cool as hell. So then all of a sudden she brings you and your girlfriend into the fold. And then 515 Alive happens. It's my birthday. I guess it wasn't my birthday, but it was kind of close to it. And then the next thing you know, we're partying. We're having a good time.
We find ways to be around each other. It's never ending.
Yeah, for sure. Lots of music, lots of concerts, More in the future to come. So first, let's bring up Trump blocking Qualcomm. So Qualcomm is a mobile chip producer, a US one. It's humongous. They were going to be bought by a Singaporean company called Broadcom for $117 billion. A little bit, yeah, just a tad bit. And Trump blocks it. And so, Nick, what's the reasoning you were talking about earlier?
I was reading this article a little bit, and the main focus, I guess, was U.S. security.
Yeah, for sure.
The reason he was worried about this, and he just straight up blocked it, I guess.
Yeah, so it has to do with the U.S. security, according to him. Obviously, there's probably dollar bills in the back of his head as far as reasoning. I just want to chat about this and bring it up maybe briefly on the pod, but just to kind of gauge your guys' opinions on what kind of precedent does it set. I mean, how often do presidents actually block the sale of a company, let alone a company for $117 billion, right?
Right.
He blocked it in a big way. I mean, he's even got steps that he wants them to follow, and
so he
wants to know that they're doing what he's taking control in a sense of a company. I mean,
yeah, that's really weird.
Yeah, thanks. Andrew.
Hostile takeover goes to even bigger hostile takeover in a sense.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean,
if this has even ever happened before. So, is the U.S. security thing the only reason why?
I just started reading an article on it right here. And it says the acquisition, if gone through, would have been the largest technological deal in history.
Oh, shit.
So, yeah, I don't think...
I thought that $117 billion sounded big, right, Andrew? Yeah. Jesus. So, setting precedent, where are we going to go from here? Disney just bought Marvel. I mean, it doesn't have to only do with just tech, right? There's tons of media conglomerates trying to buy each other. Time Warner's up in the air. T-Mobile has been in talks of buying Sprint. What can Trump block now? What will he block now?
This is always going to be a motivation, though.
Yeah.
If he didn't have anything.
Well, what is his primary motivation, Colin, right? Isn't it dollar bills, y'all?
Oh, man. We hope it's the national security. It's his nation, so I mean.
So.
Not really.
I think, we're entering and we have been in the age of technology for a while now. And so I think you're going to start seeing more regulations on a lot of tech-based companies and mergers because they can actually more legitimately use that security excuse. Even though I'm not a huge fan of the excuse, I think that it makes a lot more sense when you're talking about technology-based companies, especially if they have, if they do things for the government on the side and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree.
So maybe you won't see this as much intervention with big companies that are away from, maybe an entertainment industry or something like that. But when it comes to technology, phones, stuff that, basically goes hand in hand with the passing of information, security could actually be a real, excuse.
That makes a good point. We just heard reports this week that it is official. Russia has made attempts to hacking our power grid.
Really?
Yeah. Did you guys hear about that? Not that we have to go too deep into it, because obviously we didn't have that set as a preset as like a topic or anything, but just going hand in hand with the security. So maybe, I guess, I'm not going to always say this, but maybe give Trump administration the benefit of the doubt. There might be some underlying security reasons, I should say, that maybe I just don't understand. I'm not a computer geek nerd.
Yeah, I have no idea. So the chips were for cell phones, right?
So primarily, yeah. So the Qualcomm Snapdragon is like one of the most popular. They have like the Qualcomm Snapdragon like 8 or something now.
Okay.
But I believe even in the Nintendo Switch is a Qualcomm.
Okay.
I believe.
Nice.
But yeah, so I mean, it goes to gaming too. Like this is affecting gaming. Yeah, tech jobs in the U.S. Speaking of mobile, though, Nick.
Yeah.
You've been playing a lot of Fortnite, right?
I put in a few hours so far. Yeah. Fortnite's coming to mobile for anyone that's interested in that. That's kind of cool.
How are we gonna play first-person shooters on mobile, though?
And actually so you have to sign up online, and then it's like invite only right now. So as people are signing up, and as the game's getting better and better, and it's able to hold more people, then you're gonna get invited to play. So I'm on the waiting list right now, but gameplay looks pretty good so far. Shaun, you said you watched a little gameplay on IGN. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, as far as like the smoothness, how the person playing, I should say, operates their avatar, and I mean, it looks like you could do pretty close to what a keyboard and mouse is. I mean, for the average player. Of course, like somebody that actually plays first-person shooters all the time with a keyboard and mouse, they're going to dominate a mobile player. Right. There's just no way around it, for sure. But yeah, I'm excited for this. I've been playing. So last weekend when we recorded episode 68 for the listeners playing at home, hopefully you've already listened to that one. But we at the cabin, we were playing some Fortnite.
That was the first time
Trey downloaded it on the random Xbox One S they had in the cabin. We didn't like go crazy and like lose all of our awesome time in a cabin to it, but
right. Put in like an hour.
Yeah, it was like an afternoon.
Yeah.
So that actually got you to want to download it. Once I heard you for sure download it, I'm like, okay, I'll download it. It's a free game.
Right.
So it's made by Epic. They make my favorite game, one of my favorite multiplayer games of all time, Gears of War. But yeah, so Andrew, what about you? Do you have an Xbox?
Oh yeah.
Xbox One S?
I'll definitely be getting it. No, I have just Xbox One.
Yeah, just one though? Okay, yeah, sorry, that's what I meant.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll be getting it.
So you have that big box thing over there, like that. Okay.
That monster, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll follow the hype. I always wait to see, if people are going to get interested. Sometimes I'll go out of my way to download stuff and try it, but few and far between are these, hate to say it, epic games that come out.
Well, yeah, so it's just like a better take on PlayerUnknown's Battleground, excuse me. For anyone that doesn't know, it's basically you drop in on a helicopter, 100 players at a time, battle arena on an island, and in this one you can harvest supplies to build like a fort essentially, which is crazy. Build ramps. So it's just really cool. You start with a pickaxe and you can just harvest stuff. It's so much different than PlayerUnknown's Battleground, which is like primarily get to a vehicle so you can get to a better location fast. This one is like there's no vehicles, from what I can tell, that you can actually drive. No. You can break down a car for like cement and steel resources, and resources. Yeah. So Nick, what are we gonna do once we start getting a flood of all these mobile players?
I don't know. I suck right now. I've done like 30 matches. I've killed 3 people. I'm terrible, but it's just
you're not really a first-person shooter, or I should say third-person. Excuse me. I keep saying first. I know it's third.
I've never played.
Say what? What's going on with this? Okay, sorry, y'all. I've never ever.
Wait, you got a call.
And we got a caller.
Call him in.
You're on the air. You're live.
It's an unknown number, so I know it's probably some spam. I shared my email with somebody I shouldn't have shared it with, I think, recently. So, but anyway, yeah. Fortnite.
I've never really been into these types of games, but this one's just getting so much hype that I just wanted to try it. And it's really fun to play. Every time I do get a kill, I'm like, oh yeah, and then I die instantly. But, it's fun. Hopefully I get better.
Friend of the show, Trey Keeney. I shouldn't say friend of the show. He's co-host, essentially. He plays and streams. That's his primary game right now. So twitch.tv/totallytrey. He's out there streaming 4 nights a week, Fortnite only. I watched him yesterday on the elliptical, as I do. But he's doing work. You can squad up with 4 people total, so like 3 other people, and it looks like a lot of fun as far as like a team. So team based, dropping onto the island. That would be really tight. We should get together and do some of that.
Yeah, we're going to. We should.
Real quick, I don't have too much to say on this, but what's interesting is a lot of the games that come out now, it's going to be how well can they be streamed, because that's going to contribute hugely to the success of the overall game, in the whole community.
Yeah.
If a game can be, if people can get into it, and if it's a popular streaming game, that essentially ensures that the game is going to be popular and get a bigger following.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. Watching people play video games is eclipsing watching people playing sports. Like, I know video games are sports, can be sports, esports, but there's investors out there, world famous, Gary Vaynerchuk. Some of you may or may not know him, but he's just a really positive motivation speaking type person. Started a YouTube channel, has like this crazy media company. He's been investing in Twitch for like 4 years, 5 years now. Yeah. And I mean, just the numbers of people watching like League of Legends World Championships, and not concurrently rivals like the NBA All-Star game or whatever, the NBA's, what are they? The Final Fours and the
March Madness.
Yeah, the sports balls. They don't exactly correlate because it's so much different to like get that data versus like television data. But yeah, I totally agree. It's all about the game, multiplayer games that are going to be able to add to the hype.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some like cross-platform playing too, like Xbox and PC and all that kind of stuff. And supposedly Sony is like blocking. They don't want to cross with Microsoft.
Sony does this all the time. They do it with even games like what's the other game we play all the time on the Switch? So it's the R. This is a soccer game.
Oh, Rocket League?
Rocket League. They did it with Rocket League too, which is another esports darling. Like, they block, even Nintendo is like, okay, yeah, we'll play well with others. You can play on Nintendo Switch against someone with a PC, against someone with an Xbox, or with someone with an, but Sony does not want to cross play. Get the F out of here, Sony. You've been ruining my life for 10 years now.
The reason is super weak too. I mean, with saying that they can't control the online experience for their users, but I mean, then don't work with anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
You would fail. So work with everybody and just drop the.
They're in the number 1 spot. Why are they? Yeah, I totally agree.
I think it's their clear actual reasoning is mostly just self-motivated. They want to make their games unique. And not unique, sorry. Forcibly unique to only them.
Yeah.
I mean, it just ensures their base for a while, which I don't think is necessarily the right way to go about it. I think you probably want to look towards integrating with everyone else. But, I mean, I can see it. Companies are all about the bottom line, making money.
Yeah. They do have a great game library. I love their game library. I've always
their single-player experiences are, like, unparalleled right now.
And I think they're currently still outbeating Xbox for, like, console sales.
Almost double still. It's ridiculous.
And a lot of people were saying that was one of the focuses too of why they don't want to cross, which doesn't make sense if the game's going to be on both consoles. I don't get it.
Offer the better product and you're going to get the console sale.
Yeah.
And they are.
Yeah.
Currently, yeah. I mean, you can't argue with like The Last of Us 2 coming out later this year. That's going to probably win Game of the Year awards. Yeah, I mean, even some third-party games like Far Cry 5 coming out, I know that's going to be, everyone's going to love it, but, so Sony, still rubbing me the wrong way. I do want to get a PS4, but I mean, I've got so much gaming stuff right now. I don't play enough. I can't really like make the call to spend $400 on the PS4 Pro, and then I want to get a PSVR. You know, got to experience that VR.
Yeah, I want to wait until it gets a little bit better. Speaking of VR, though, I heard they were gonna do Fallout 4 on VR.
Yeah. That's another reason to get it.
Well, last thing I had on Fortnite, did you guys see Drake recently play?
Oh, yeah, good call out. So Ninja's #1 Twitch streamer, right? Currently?
He's up there, yeah.
So
top 2 or 3.
I heard that Drake was like essentially carrying him. This is via my roommate who was watching that, but yeah, that's really interesting if true.
I didn't watch the whole thing, but...
Did you catch it?
I watched it like afterwards. I watched like the recording of it. But it was Drake, Travis Scott, Juju Smith, which was from the Steelers, I guess. They hit 628,000 views.
Concurrent. They had like 3.3 million views total.
Yeah, which like doubled the previous record, which was set by someone you would know, Dr. Disrespect.
Yep, Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah, which he was playing PUBG when he came back, but who was he playing? League of Legends. He was a big League of Legends.
I think it was that or Dota, one of the two. But I don't think it was League actually, because I would have known.
Ninja was League, wasn't he? Before
Ninja was. Oh, I think he's always been first-person shooters.
Okay,
but. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought that just celebrities playing, like, that just tells you how big the game is. Like, when huge celebrities like that are going to play, and somehow those two worlds collide. You know, streamers and celebrities. That's nuts to see that happen. So that was really cool.
Well, that's the very tip of the iceberg, in my opinion, of like celebrities co-signing. Exactly what kind of the point Colin was making earlier in the topic here was we're gonna see like. I don't know if you guys know this, but Beyonce's a huge Nintendo fan.
Really?
Huge. We're going to see Beyonce playing with her kid or something on Twitch, and it's going to have like 10 million views. Like, it's going to be absolutely bonkers. We're going to see other kinds of things, not just Drake. It starts with Drake, and it's going to get just huge.
I think another big thing is how much more socially acceptable gaming has just become, you know? Yeah. So I'm sure, like, I remember back in the day, I remember hearing about Dave Chappelle playing World of Warcraft or something like that. And it was a big deal, right? People were like, oh my God, a celebrity's playing a game. Or I think you heard Mila Kunis. I think she used to play World of Warcraft too. And like hearing about that just kind of like,
yeah.
But like now it's, you know, not as much of a thing. And 20 years from now when millennials are the, you know, dominant adult generation, it's, you know, and then the kids is probably going to be even more so with their kids, so.
Every kid's gonna have a Twitch and a YouTube channel. Yeah, they already do.
They already do. They got their headphones on and they're doing what we're doing right now.
Yeah, exactly, and probably
faster.
Yeah.
Not to get off topic too much, but
this is a conversational podcast, Colin. I need you to understand. I need you to start speaking.
No, Life's the topic.
Yeah.
What's interesting is I've been kind of thinking about like Twitch becoming a bigger and bigger part of the economy. So like, let's just say like 50 years from now, like are 15% of the jobs just going to be like people who stream on Twitch
and work at Amazon, which owns Twitch?
As technology increases, jobs are generally lost because we've traditionally been a blue collar economy. You know, so as jobs are created by technology, there's going to be a point where we're losing jobs a little bit quicker than we're gaining jobs. And, it'll be interesting just to see, like, now it's actually a thing. Like my cousin has 3 kids, like 9, 7, and 4. And the 9 and 7-year-old are already talking about, like, being a Twitch streamer when they grow up, right?
Whoa,
so, like,
awesome. You don't want to be a firefighter or a police officer or an astronaut.
Well, and so I'm sitting here and I'm like, they're trying to, so they were talking to me about it and they're like, I've been trying to tell them it's not realistic and maybe you could talk to them because I get along pretty well with the kids. And I was thinking about it, I was like, I don't know if I could actually tell them that. Like, it's kind of becoming more of a legitimate thing. Like, if you have the personality for it.
Yeah.
Now, I would hate to be a streamer. I think just because...
You're not an extrovert. We just talked about that.
Yeah, that, but also just like, I just feel like you'd be on too much of almost like a forced schedule. And sure, it'd be something you'd love, and I think a lot of people probably love streaming, but...
You don't love routines quite like other people.
Yeah, and...
Process forces progress and vice versa. So, I mean, what's cool about all technology taking jobs, I mean, there's a positive that comes from all this stuff. We live in a time today where everybody's noticing like, hey, I might not have a job, but I have a voice.
Yeah.
And
For sure.
even though a group of us can set out to research something, anything, and come back with a story, a computer's going to be able to do it faster. It's just, it's powers beyond ours, but a computer can't have a voice like we can yet.
Right.
I mean, we still are individuals. I mean, we like what we like. We have all these modes, whether it be music, Twitch, YouTube, you name it. I mean, be on Twitter.
Yeah.
If you're just on a soapbox somewhere, I mean, you have a voice. So, I mean, we're not being replaced in that matter.
Yeah, not yet. AI is getting there. AI's
they're trying.
You guys see the video like recently? I mean, I know you probably all did, but on Facebook, you see all these like AI videos from Boston mechanic. What's it called? Boston, whatever. Robotics. There's like the Boston University or something. Anyway, this robot straight up opens the door and lets all of his other little robot friends into like this room.
Oh, that's
it looked freaky as hell.
There was a AI commercial for Sprint during the Super Bowl where she was like taking a picture of her food or something. Remember that? Sprint had a bunch of like AI commercials. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Going back to what you were saying though, Colin, real quick on this, with the Twitch becoming a bigger part of the economy, and what was it? Did you say it was your nephew or a friend's kid?
It was my nephew, I guess. That's weird. Yeah, my cousin's kids. Yeah.
Okay, so your nephew.
Or no, that's
your second cousin.
Yep.
It's cousin. It's cousin's kids would be second cousin, not nephew. Nephew would be.
Okay, second cousin. So your cousin's kid. Yeah. Glad we got that sorted out.
I always hated that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Twice removed.
And talking about being a Twitch streamer as a feasible job, like that's pretty cool. Like light that fire, let them have a passion of something they want to actually do, because 1930s, was all about getting a job that could support your family and possibly then you'd be set up for retirement. Now we're in the day and age where a lot of us are kind of forced into that, and we are trying to break the mold. Like for instance, I'm going to throw it back to Trey. He does not like his current job, right? Yeah. Not many of us probably do. Besides, like, it's challenging, but like actually passionate. So Trey's trying to break the mold, doing 20, 30 hours a week, trying to do the Twitch thing, So it's just, I think the reason why it will be hopefully a bigger part of the economy is not only because Twitch will be huge and a competitor to like NBA and MLB, but because gaming's cool. And like, let's have all the other jobs out there that can be done by robots and whatever, AI, come to the forefront and let me have a firefighter that's a robot, so I don't have a human life at risk. And then whoever was going to be that firefighter, let them be a Twitch or YouTube commentator on politics. I mean, it could be anything.
Just don't get him wet. Just don't get him wet.
Yeah. I mean, so jobs have traditionally been out of necessity. The jobs that are determined, and because that's one of the positives of this increase in technology is now a lot of those jobs that were traditionally done out of necessity, that no one really aspired to be, can be taken over hopefully by machines and technology. Yep. And we can get more into a bigger percentage of jobs being passion or personal interest driven. As long as it's, it excites enough people.
Exactly. Yeah. You said that more eloquent than I did, but that's only what I was trying to say. So let's get into our big, fat, juicy topic. What do you got over here, Nick? I want you to kind of cap off this conversation.
So Johnny Craig, this was kind of your topic of discussion, but from what I hear, he got arrested recently during a show. Yeah. It's kind of a big deal.
So Johnny Craig, just for the listeners playing at home, if you don't know, do you know who Johnny Craig is, Andrew?
Now I do.
Now you do? Okay.
So after a little bit of research,
okay. But you didn't you haven't been listening to him for...
He wasn't a household name to me.
Oh, okay. He is was lead singer of Emarosa. What other bands?
Datsik and Dance for a while.
For a little bit. A couple years, one album or something. But anyway, huge part of the hard... I shouldn't say hardcore, but like...
Post-hardcore,
Post-hardcore,
alternative rock scene or something.
Yeah, alternative rock scene. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And he's always just been kind of a douchebag and kind of a piece of crap. So like in 2009 or 2010, he was really high on a bunch of drugs, just really spiraling out of control. And he sold a MacBook Pro, or a MacBook, to a fan. And he ended up getting the money, and the fan's like, oh my God, I have this connection with one of my favorite artists, blah, blah, blah. And he gets the money from the fan through PayPal or through some other way, and never ever ships or gives a MacBook to the kid. So he's just like sitting there. This blows up on Twitter. He gets called out.
Question on that real quick.
Yeah.
So is he in like financial dire straits or something? Because that doesn't really make sense to do, especially if you're making most of your income through being this famous person, to do something that makes you look so bad for such little bit of money, unless you're really in dire straits.
I think he's more was like...
Or was it like a drug spiral?
Yeah, exactly. More drug-induced than anything.
By the way, I thought you said smiling out of control, and I was like, either one works.
Spiraling out of control.
Smiling.
Yeah. But anyway, so... He rips off this kid. He does a bunch of other stuff. He's just an actual, like, kind of a jerk.
Yeah.
So overall...
I mean, this is going to tie into our later topic, but yeah, he had like some sexual assault allegations, rape allegations 5-6 months ago, which is crazy to me that he's actually still doing shows after, because I mean, so many people that, their careers are getting ruined from this stuff.
Part of me thinks it has to do with the scene, like the kind of music that he's producing. He's producing music that's like, we can toss it back to like bands like Story So Far who talk about hating on women. I mean, not to the extent of other bands like Amur, Amur's like a hardcore band that's just, they have lyrics that are like, I hate this bitch is horrible, like she ruined my life.
And someone gave him like a STD.
I know. I mean, that's the basis of
every album he's
exactly. He's been hurt so much by this. So anyway, I think it has to do with the genre, right? Like, so Johnny Craig's, it's more socially acceptable to be a piece of crap to a woman, I think, maybe in the hardcore scene or rock scene.
What's interesting is if it does have to deal with the genre, are genres like this going to become smaller now that like they're more socially policed now than ever?
Yeah.
Which will also tie into what we're about to talk about.
Yeah, so the EDM scene... what else do we want to say about Johnny Craig? Can you actually explain the story?
Yeah, so to the story. He was at a show in Arizona, and their set got cut short by 30 minutes. The cops came and arrested him. There's videos on Twitter of him walking out, and he's like screaming, like, film this. And everyone's like, we love you, Johnny. Whatever.
You're the best.
Yeah. That was basically it for this article. And then I read a different article stating that two of the other bands that were on the show were in the back, and they got into some sort of an altercation. And that's why the venue called the police, and the police came, and then the police are the ones that actually shut down the set, whereas from Johnny's perspective, he was just singing, and then the music got cut, so he thought the venue just cut. And then, so what he did in retaliation is he, like, broke a couple of mics that were...
Clearly someone that's thoughtful and understands like what his actions are about to do.
Yeah.
He starts to vandalize the entire set.
And that's why he got arrested, because he basically destroyed their property or whatever.
Yeah, so he wasn't even part of the original fight. Like,
no, yeah. It's weird.
He's just not an intelligent human being.
He's very reactive.
He doesn't only have one face tattoo. He has multiple.
Yeah, he just seems like he's always been just a slub, so...
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of slubs, this is
a bigger one.
Yeah, a bigger...
Jesus Christ. Take it away, Shaun.
Okay, so Datsik, we were all prepped and ready to go to the show on Wednesday here in Des Moines, Iowa at Woolies. We were ready to go. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I was just actually kind of getting pumped for it. I had to work at 6 a.m. on Thursday, but I was still going to go out and have a great time.
Yep.
Going to connect with everybody. Andrew was out there. Everyone's going out. I had to work till 6:30 though. So when I was working, I got like a Facebook update or whatever saying that there's like allegations out there that he's on this tour alone been raping or sexually assaulting himself onto women and sexually assaulting women on this tour alone. Mm-hmm. And then like that, I text that to Lydia. I'm like, what the heck's going on? What's this going to be? I don't even want to go to the show anymore. First of all, personal standpoint, like I don't want to support this. Mm-hmm. Like this feels weird just to even go to the show. So we get home, I get home, I change, Nick and Shayna come over and we're about to head out to the show. And on the way there, actually, Shayna got text updates from Andrews and all the crew that was there about how the show was getting canceled at Woolies.
So you guys were already there.
Oh, we were literally walking up and get on the sidewalk and just the whole place is emptying out. I mean, 200 people that were there at that time. It was early still, but well, obviously everybody, even some of them in there, didn't even know what was going on at the point. But we come to find out that like it's done. It's like nobody's performing. It's not just him. I mean, at that point, you're excited for everybody.
Yeah,
you've worked yourself up. You've listened to music all week, weeks, all day.
Yeah.
You're super bummed, but at the same time, we also like all stood and looked at each other, and you go like, with these allegations, who am I to? Is my show more important than these? And we all came to like the conclusion, obviously, that like, no, this is a bigger thing. So I mean. And it's crazy. I mean, the amount of allegations that continue to come out, and obviously right now we don't know the difference between fact and allegations, so we've got to point to that. So, but at the same time, and it's different stories. It's not always the exact same one. I mean, he doesn't have an MO. He's just being a piece of shit seemingly in so many ways. So
yeah, for sure. Just to kind of set the stage a little bit and the time frame. We got there at 7, like I'd say 30. Yeah. Doors were at 6, I believe. And music was supposed to start at 7:30. So music was just about to start. There was, like you were saying, Andrew, 3 other opening acts, right? Yeah. So this place was getting packed, like 200-300 people probably.
The whole lineup was great. All of them were good.
So it was Riot 10, Carbon, Space Jesus, and Datsik for listeners playing at home. But when we rolled up, you guys were already outside, just as you were saying. And when we were walking up, I mean, people were talking about how they had driven from Omaha. Yeah. People were like super upset. I would be too. Canceled after doors.
Right. Yeah. That's nuts.
That's how like much weight these allegations, and I'm putting up quotes because. I mean, so many women have come forward. If you go on Twitter, you can see example after example. I mean, people sharing their stories, even saying, I want to stay anonymous, but hey, this is what happened to me 3 years ago.
Kind of like Andrew was saying, too. It's not just, it's a whole bunch of different stories. And whether or not some of the more serious claims are actually true, that still needs to be investigated. But at the same time, there's just so many stories from various women of general shittiness, general shitty behavior when he's around. Women, especially women drinking alcohol, insisting that they drink more. There's the whole Tulsa thing. Which giving women backstage passes or like passes to get on the bus. Tulsa and Amir is a slut.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, in good fun, that can all be okay, but this is how you show like bad actual actions. Just show the ugliness behind this. And like I was talking about, all these allegations, you've almost seen him like get worse over time. Yeah. I mean, early stories, people were like, he was kind of like too much. He was doing that rock star party stuff, breaking things and stuff. And then now you've seen it seems to become worse and more extreme.
Some of the like with the Tulsa thing, actually, one of the stories I read on Twitter was crazy to me. So supposedly his tour manager, which was a female, would help him get women to go backstage after the show. So like she would like walk around, ask girls, hey, are you 18? Do you want to go on the party bus afterwards and do the whole Tulsa thing on their ticket so that they could go? Like
she literally facilitated.
You're gonna help with that? Like that blows my mind.
I wonder what's gonna come out about that in the future.
Yeah, there's a few Twitter stories. I haven't read any like actual articles about it yet, but a couple of people corroborated the same story on Twitter. So it seems weird.
So on Twitter, real quick. Just again to set the stage, on Twitter early Wednesday morning, March 14th, bunch of people just started sharing. I mean, I don't know exactly what sparked it, but somebody said something and then that got retweets and then somebody else said something. Then another woman actually came in and she's actually called out in a positive light by EDM Sauce, which is just an EDM blog and Your EDM. And she's called out as in like helping to facilitate like people to share their stories by blocking out stuff and posting images. And she's getting hundreds of retweets at this point, mid-afternoon, late afternoon. They break the story. These other blogs, like I said, EDM Sauce, Your EDM, and these tweets, these Facebook comments of women sharing their story. It goes crazy. It's where he, like, as you were saying, Colin, he's encouraging women to take drugs, illicit substances, drink alcohol. He's making them a ton of drinks. Who knows what he's slipping into the drinks? I mean, these poor girls are like young and dumb, and I mean they're just like looking at a star that they absolutely love. They've been following him for 5 years.
It's sad.
It's disgusting. He's a predator.
Yeah.
And it's no different than in the wild of a lion. It's just disgusting. Yeah. I've been listening to too much Joe Rogan podcast over here. So I'm getting into the hunting aspect of it. But encouraging women to take stuff they don't want to take, including, I saw one story, a girl went to the back of the bus, even though she said multiple times, I don't want to go to the back of your tour bus into your room. And then eventually, after 5-6 drinks, she said, okay, fine. I don't want to have sex though. He gives her some ketamine for kids playing at home, special K. And she's never done this at this point in her life. Sure, she has some should have some responsibility as far as choosing and what she's doing and all this. But after 6 drinks, I make stupid decisions too. Exactly. I'm not gonna call that out or not call that out.
Somebody you idolize is telling you to do it.
Right.
I think a part of you maybe even trying to impress them, they do it and I like them, and why would they try to do me wrong?
That's exactly it. I was going to say the same thing, because a lot of people were commenting on these stories and being like, this is your fault, you can make your own decisions, all that stuff. But yeah, everyone knows when you're at a certain level of drunk or whatever you're doing at these shows, you're not going to make the best decisions. So yeah, you're just impaired, and he's preying on these impaired women to coax them into doing things. And yeah, he's got that celebrity factor. If a celebrity told me to do something, I was like, yeah, dude, Datsik, I'm going to do it. You know?
There's instances where he had his bouncers bounce a boyfriend of a girl so he could mac on this girl who's crazy drunk at this point. So it's a boyfriend because he thinks, she's probably thinking, I'm with my boyfriend, I'm safe. I'm in a safe environment with him especially. The boyfriend gets bounced, and he forces himself on her. Who knows how far he got? I don't think the story shed any light on that, which I don't want to even know the details of course. But dude's done.
No, yeah.
Fuck him.
Everything is done. So we forgot to really mention the Space Jesus aspect of this. That was part of the EDM Sauce article. Was that they were doing it together almost, they were helping each other in a way. Space Jesus posted 2 public statements, though, basically denying everything and stating that he would never do something like this. And so his statements, if you read them, they do seem pretty heartfelt. And he actually mentioned something about him and his team are going to research these allegations to figure out what happened. And he mentioned that just because we're touring doesn't mean we're together all the time. So I had no idea this was happening type of stuff. I don't know. His statement seemed fairly genuine. Whereas Datsik's, if you read his apology,
oh my god, that's the worst.
Yo guys, it's Datsik.
It couldn't have been worse, except unless he was Kevin Spacey.
I don't know, dude. He's come on, guys, it wasn't. I don't do that. What the fuck, dude? I don't know. It just seemed terrible, you know.
We can call back to the point when all this was going down. He was on his tour bus deleting tweets, literally in Des Moines, Iowa. He was deleting tweets that he had said. Awful things. As gross as this. He said, rape, it's not rape, it's a struggle snuggle.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
So I had read, and I don't know if this is true, but I had read that was his manager posting regardless. That's just something so stupid to post anyway.
He's not Donald, that's a bad call out. Well, he's not okay, so for instance, President Obama, when Barack Obama was president, he would sign off his tweets as BO, right?
Sure, yeah.
And then the rest were by the staffers, and they had a lot of politicians especially have this, where if it was actually them, they'd have a certain sign off.
Sure.
Datsik is Datsik. He's not going to have somebody else tweeting out for him. If anything, oh man. That is ridiculous to say that was his manager.
Agreed. Here's my phone. Go tweet.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. Why wouldn't you have deleted it right away then? Yeah. If you knew your manager had tweeted something gross like that.
Right. Well, because that's the thing is obviously he didn't necessarily disapprove of it.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. That's a good point. Yeah.
Otherwise he would have. Because how many years ago was this?
Yeah. It's been going on forever. Yeah.
Right.
So speaking of him just being done, So first of all, Space Jesus, before too much got out, he was like, I'm dropping off the tour. I'm not going to do the tour anymore.
Wasn't it that evening, Wednesday night?
Yeah. Okay. It was within an hour of that thing.
Quick question about Space Jesus.
Yes.
So have there been a bunch of allegations towards him? I know the article initially put him in the same group, but then has there been follow-up allegations on Space Jesus?
I haven't really seen much about him.
Because I haven't really
I think I ran across one instance there.
It seems like he's getting kind of vindicated.
If there is a less degree, far less degree.
Sure, yeah.
Right, that's a good point. I agree. I think
he was more of a jerk one night than actually going out of his way to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
Which people get drunk and do stupid shit. But I don't think it was to the point where he was like doing the level of stuff that Datsik was doing. But anyway.
The main thing is like people are trying to say that he knew about this. He had seen this happen, especially being on. This is his second tour with him, I think.
Yeah.
So like
something like that. Yeah.
It's second, maybe even third. Who knows? Well, of course, the last.
They were actually good friends. They post pictures on Instagram together all the time. Okay. But, like, I think this like cut that off.
Oh yeah. Quick. Oh yeah. You can't be friends with a rapist.
Yeah. But anyway, so Datsik is removed from all tours. He removed himself from all tours, but then a lot of other like big music festivals also had posted about it. Like, if these allegations are true, we're dropping him. He's off of his record label. He had a side project called F Word, which he's done with. So like,
that was his side project?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
It's him and somebody else. Yeah.
No way.
So his music career is done. Everything's over. Like, he doesn't have a label. He
doesn't have any good looks.
Doesn't have shows.
He's one ugly SOB.
He's got nothing now.
Inside and out.
He seems like a douchey guy from even the way he worded his apology tweet or whatever it was, that paragraph. God, that was so hard to read. It was really hard to read.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was punctuation and everything. It's like, that's how you know even his manager is like, I'm done with you, because she's not like proofreading.
Well, and like him talking about in this like way too short apology paragraph, him stating that he's a vibe feeler.
Oh yeah,
that is about the creepiest thing you can say.
Off because I'm a vibe feeler, and now I don't even associate it like that.
Yeah, you can't say that.
He stole that. Like,
he messed it up.
took the glory away.
Wow, that's such a good point. Ugh, gross. Ugh.
I mean, how creepy can you get?
Well, you picked the wrong scene too. I mean, you have a scene about like music and love and togetherness.
Right.
And, I mean, all this positivity, and then you brought ugly into it. And I mean, we nipped it in the bud. I'm saying we because I mean, as a fan,
the scene,
I mean, in hours.
Yeah.
In the same day. I mean, we've seen how long it can take some of this other stuff to work out and have anything happen. So
right. And that's kind of what I was bringing to the point of the Johnny Craig thing. Like, he had similar allegations on Twitter. People like ex-girlfriends and things saying that he legitimately raped them on Twitter. But and then people were like, "Why is he not exiled? Why is he still putting out music?" Which is weird. It does show you kind of how different those scenes are. Like how
the amount of females in a scene.
How much more positive?
Ooh, that's a good point too.
The amount of females that a scene has, maybe.
Yeah, that very well could be.
I mean, just something that's what one of my first jumps to is, when there's. Because guys, even if guys are, allies to females against sexual assault and stuff like that too, it's so easy to be a little more detached from it when it's not, happening to you, or to minimize it and stuff like that too.
I can see
and
that.
Also the less females that are in a scene, maybe the less likely they are to come out about stuff like that too, especially if they're really into the scene, like that's a part of their identity.
Oh, totally.
It's like they don't want to be, they don't want to totally just make themselves outcasts.
It's kind of like a frat, dude. They're like a fraternity. They're going to stick together,
Yeah.
So it's weird.
I think that's a really good point, because I'm just thinking about all the other scenes that I've been a part of, or like genres even. Fans of like alternative and EDM probably have the closest to 50-50 versus like metal, hardcore, and all that stuff. So yeah, actually, for instance, we can call it like it is. I mean, we were at Midwest Meltdown in Iowa City just a few weeks ago, and the amount of women there that weren't with a boy, like a girlfriend, was insane.
Yeah, it was
like it was zero.
And if they're with their boyfriends, maybe they don't even like it.
Yeah, I mean, I was there because I'm a boyfriend of a hardcore chick. But so it's like on the flip side, but
the 1%.
Yeah, the 1% of the 1%. I finally made it, y'all.
Let's go with it.
So Datsik's done. He's off of Electric Forest both weekends. I believe he was for both weekends. He's off of all of his other music festivals. He's done. He's done. Yeah. So he did have that music label, and we all believed at that point, I think, before like doing some research, I guess, that he was the owner and that's it.
Yeah.
But he's actually co-owner of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. If I were that other woman that co-owns his label with him, I would probably just cut my losses and rename it or something.
Yeah, rebrand.
Yeah.
They all have to. I mean, the only way he'll ever have anything, maybe we'll have another guy in a mask soon.
Yeah. Oh my God, right? Well, he already had like a gimmick with sunglasses. All he did was wear sunglasses, like even at night, like goofball.
I have a question about that. So he doesn't own his own label, because that's what I had heard too. So I didn't know that he just didn't own it. And so he dropped himself from his own label that he co-owns, just to clarify.
So, okay, I'm assuming like there's a whole bunch of like fine print and clauses when you go partner with somebody, right? Like where if you get like something crazy like this
that tarnishes maybe the name.
Exactly. You have to be bought out or written out or whatever of future projects, future contracts and all that stuff. So I'm just making assumptions. I'm not a business grad and I don't think there's much online as far as like the defined details of it, but they wrote like I said, the woman that co-owned it with him wrote that he's done, has no other, he's gonna play no role in the future of this record label. So who's on there? Is there anyone that comes to mind right off the bat, Nick, for you?
Don't even know, to be honest.
Yeah, me neither.
Shayna would know. She knows a lot about it.
Yeah,
she would have been a good one to have on this episode, but.
How does this affect you, Andrew, as far as like, because I know you were at least somewhat of a fan of his,
that's
right?
what I was going to ask. Nice.
Well, I mean, I was actually in the position of being more of a fan of the other people that were coming. Yeah. I mean, that was my main beef with it getting canceled, if I'm sitting here being honest.
Yeah,
my first gut thing was like, well, this sucks. Like, you're canceling my show now, and now I don't get to see these people I want. Like, I could have just as soon not even seen you, and you've ruined this.
I would honestly have taken... So this happened once upon a time. A show got canceled with the headliner is the one that made the decision. It had nothing to do with this rape and like horrible stuff. It was Silverstein and I forget the opener. Oceana maybe? At People's Court way back when. Silverstein like couldn't make it to the show. So the show didn't get canceled. It was just the headliner wasn't playing and then they gave you a ticket discount.
I was at that show, dude.
I actually took the full discount.
Did you really?
Yeah, and then I stayed for Oceana.
Because I remember a friend of the show, Caleb Rizzuti, was there too. I was waiting in line as he was walking out, and he's just like, Silverstein's canceled. I can't believe it.
Yeah. But they offered for like a $20 ticket. They offered you $10 back, but then you could still stay for the whole show. I really wish, just to kind of go with your point there, that you missed Carbon and Riot 10 and even Space Jesus.
Yeah, that's a lineup itself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
It really is.
I mean, Space Jesus just headlined Blue Moose last fall.
It's interesting that they didn't offer something like that. I mean, I'm sure since things like that have happened in the past. I mean, was it even something that was on the table this time? I wonder what the reasonings were behind not offering something like that.
I think my thought on that's probably just a customer basis. I mean, there would have been people, I want my money back. I mean, they would have had to figure out some small refund, big refund. I mean, with all the different modes of ticket sales, it would have probably just been a headache, I think.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, I'm in the group that would have paid my, 2 tickets was like $75 after fees. I would have paid that money and just not seen him, and I would have been fine.
Yeah, I would have just paid.
Not everybody's that way, and it was he muddied the water in a huge way. I mean, there's people that wouldn't have gone.
Speaking of which, Shawnee Day, here's your money back.
Oh yeah, thanks. So, real quick, I'll shine some light on that, but they were not offering discounts at the time at the door. I walked in, I was just like, I'm going to go get some... I had a couple shots in me. I'm going to go get some answers. Yeah. So I go to a Woolies First Fleet employee. I start talking to her, and I'm like, hey, I'm not a reporter. I'm not going to report on this. I wanted to preface that because there were a lot of photographers there that all of a sudden had a free night, and I saw a couple of them videotaping. I shouldn't say a couple. What's his name? He was taking tons of shots. Yeah, and eventually they just flipped the mode to videotape and started to interview people. Who knows? But... Anyway, I started talking to her, and she's like, it wasn't Woolies First Fleet's call at all. It was 100% the tour canceled last minute, and just from a logistical point, they cannot just say, okay, everyone, here's your money. Like, they don't have 700 people. They don't have any way to do that.
All of that just sitting there,
Yeah, $35 ticket, and then there's fees associated. I went to the box office, so do I get... I mean, I'm not going to get my fees. I'm like, there's no fees at the box office.
Yeah, we both had 4 physical tickets, and they gave me $120. So.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I paid more than that, but I'm pretty sure it was $35 at the door or at Woolies, but whatever. I mean, I'm not looking at you like, hey, dude, but I'm just sitting here thinking that's just a really crappy situation. And on top of it, one of my favorite bands. I mean, my favorite band in the entire world. Every Time I Die, their show got canceled. At 7 Flags. So I'm just sitting here 2 shows in a row I'm supposed to be going to get canceled.
True, that is nuts.
Hopefully Knock Loose, Hate Breed, and Terror don't get canceled next week in Omaha.
Yeah, don't touch anybody, seriously.
Yeah.
You're cursed right now.
Colin, you're like sitting here on the outskirts of like, you weren't part of the four of us going, right? But like, as far as a show getting canceled, can you recall any time that's ever happened to you? I mean,
getting canceled that I was going to go to? No.
Yeah.
So I've never been the biggest showgoer, but I've definitely gone to several in the last like 10 years. And I don't think I've ever been to a show was planning on going to a show that got canceled. So I can't even say I've experienced it, but I'm sure it sucks.
We didn't even have to drive very far, like those kids from Omaha.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I wonder how it so it was going to be a sold out show.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It was, yeah.
And so how does it hurt Woolies? You know, obviously maybe they didn't get an actual loss, but they got a loss versus expected profit.
Yeah.
The bar.
They probably had to play. Yeah, they had to pay their employees still. They had all the setup. They lost doing another. You know, it was canceled last minute, so they can't just replace it, right? They can't have something else go on. Also, I think it's very interesting to me, because this has happened several times in the last like 8 years or so, where artists, whether it's, or, you know, actors, have had these allegations put against them, and it's essentially destroyed their careers, and you could argue rightfully so, but it's just kind of like, you know, everyone loved Kevin Spacey before that happened, and now his career is kind of done. And
Kevin Spacey was a top 3 actor for me. So top 3. And now I'm like, what the heck?
So I want to say that if I'm being honest, I still think he was an amazing actor. Separated from this. But so, I mean, it's kind of hard. And like, I love some of his movies still, you know?
You gotta separate a little bit. I mean, there's always that, it's like anything. There's that before allegations and then like after. I mean, you're doing your part by cutting ties. You don't have to say like, oh, he sucks now.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
I'm not out
amazing legacy that he's left. Like, it's super tarnished, but I mean, we've seen this with everybody from OJ. I mean, you're not going to lose all of your fans. I mean,
true.
He did it.
And so to that point, like, you can still talk about, although people probably won't, it's still okay to mention things that made him, qualities that made him a good actor. It's just, you got to separate it just a little bit, you know.
So this is how I look at it. There's a timeline, right? He did this movie I love, this movie I love, this movie I love. He was in this Broadway production I never watched, but I could appreciate. Wow, he's a Broadway actor. This movie I love. And then this all comes to light. Although he did all those acts, I mean, all the way back to 27 years ago to that young actor, now an an older adult who's like able to actually talk about it because the Me Too movement and all the other things come to light. Even though he did stuff during that time, I can appreciate the art that was created before. Now, let's say he comes out with a movie in 2-3 years, he goes to rehab. Oh, he's so much better. I'm never, ever going to watch anything else he produces. No movies that come out. I'm not even going to be a fan. But I'm still a fan of those previous works because at that time in my life and that movie shaped my perspective on things and stuff.
So, very important question. So I don't necessarily disagree with that. But I don't know if I would 100% say that I would never watch something that was produced by someone, even if that someone was shown to be kind of a scumbag. You know, I might not, but I might. So my question is, do you shame the people that might see it? I mean, maybe they won't like talk about it or rave about it, but I mean, let's just say you have your way of dealing with it, and I was like, I happen to see it, you know, whatever movie you came out with, right? And of course, I'd probably do my part by not being super vocal about it. Like, I get it's a sensitive subject.
And if you can steal it online,
when I get shamed by people, because I think you do see a lot of that online, like people saying you have to cut ties, you have to disassociate yourself. And I don't know that it's that clear cut. I think as long as you disagree with the specific actions, and there's something to be said for supporting an artist whose lifestyle, you know, and actions are not admirable.
Right.
But I don't know. I have a hard time just like completely relating the person with the art.
It's 100%. It's tough. I mean, a shitty person can make a beautiful painting. It's deep though. I mean, I think the biggest thing is you got to do what makes you feel comfortable laying your head on the pillow at the end of the night.
Yeah.
And like, that you don't got to worry about what other people think about you. Like, if you're okay with it, like, go see the movie. I mean, it's fine. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to go out of my way to make you feel bad for seeing something.
Right.
Well, that's because you're
doing your part by not going. If you don't want to go, don't go.
Yeah.
And feel good about it. And then, I mean, ask them how it was. I mean, don't support it. That's the right thing to do.
Right.
I probably won't be like pitchforking outside the movie, but you know, just probably
I'm not going to feed money into your pockets.
Yeah. Because I mean, you're still technically, by you buying a ticket, that money eventually trickling down to them. And then, do you feel like you were giving money to that person that did these acts that you didn't agree with?
So a good thing, a good example, I should say, that I can bring up that Nick and I, especially me, I guess, because I mean, it happened right after I saw him live, but brand new. Yeah. So Jesse Lacey. Mm-hmm. They put out Science Fiction earlier last year. It was top 3 favorite albums of the year. I absolutely love Brand New. All these allegations come to light and they had been he had been accused of this, but like I don't know, like the fire is burning from the Me Too movement and stuff, right? So like it's not only going to be posted and retweeted a few times on Twitter. Now it's going to be blown up. It's going to be covered by these blogs. I go and see him. This happens right after I had just seen him live in New Orleans. Yeah. And so I'm just like, it's one of my favorite bands, Brand New.
Right.
This happens. I can't support him on anything he ever does again. That's how so I think, Colin, you're right. Like, that's how I'm going to handle it. And that's how I'm going to kind of like make myself feel like a better person and whatnot. But so I don't know. I think you're right too, Andrew. Like, whatever makes you feel like you can rest your head on the pillow at the end of the night with a good conscience. Do what you can. And I guess I'll try my hardest not to judge people. It's hard not to judge people. I mean, that's like a subconscious type thing.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to support Datsik. I never really did beforehand. I actually couldn't stand his music at all. But
one last comment is, when it comes to the Me Too movement and stuff like that, is I don't think we've seen the end of this. I don't think it's just people, celebrities and musicians and people in power that are doing this. I think this behavior is largely pervasive of the whole population. We just don't hear about it, from like everyone else, right? Yeah. And so that's kind of, that's disturbing in its own right, but it's like, I think it's almost going to be surreal as you start to see this happen more and more and more. And I think it probably will for a while until people learn to, not be dumb.
Shaun and I actually had this conversation. We're like, especially in the scene, it is a very positive scene, but there's a lot of alcohol and drug use that correlates with the scene, and dudes are just creepy. And we know dudes are gonna like prey on people. So
some dudes.
Not all people in this room. We're genuine dudes. But it's just like, we were thinking like, well, who's next? Because there's been actors. It's hit like almost every entertainment, I guess, area, So who's the next like DJ that's going to get called out? It's kind of scary. I hope it's someone I don't.
What if it's like, heaven forbid. Well, what if it's like,
don't say it.
What if it's Datsik?
No,
he's honestly like
I would never.
The heart of the entire industry.
I could never see
EDM
that.
industry, I should say.
I mean, who knows? But Datsik, if you like paid attention to him at all before, I liked his music. I listened to his music, but I did think he was kind of a douchey guy. He just kind of seemed that way, the way he carried himself, So
his music was kind of made cutter. It was bad.
Kind of made sense. Which I've seen him multiple times. I paid for tickets to see shows all the time. I liked his music, but just the way he carried himself, you could kind of tell, like, that guy's kind of weird, So,
why are you wearing your sunglasses, bro? It's inside and it's dark.
I don't know. I just hope that...
Don't trust someone that wears their sunglasses inside.
So you can't tell he's creeping on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Can't see where those eyeballs are on the women's asses.
Because it's Tulsa shades.
Oh my god.
Got it.
Okay.
Well, yeah. So St. Patty's Day.
Yep.
Nick, you have some history to share. I know we're cutting it close here at Lemonheads because we have a party we're popping off on. We already got some guests here. I can hear them in the background. So we got to do some partying, some eating, some drinking, some enjoying each other's good times. But we got St. Patty's Day, so let's talk about it for a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't know much about St. Patty's Day or like the history behind it, so I wanted to look it up a little bit and see what it was all about. St. Patrick was...
He's a saint.
A saint. in Ireland. And so his family was all religious. Fathers were priests and grandfathers were deacons and crap like that. He was kidnapped by Irish raiders and taken as a slave, where he spent 6 years working as a shepherd. And then after that, he escaped and he went back to his home country of Ireland or wherever he was from. Okay. And then he spent the rest of his life converting people to Christianity. Okay. And that was kind of his big thing.
Huge couple of lives.
Yeah. No, another thing that, because I was like, well, how did we get getting trashed and drinking out of this patron saint? I guess they lift Lent restrictions during the day of St. Patrick's Day.
Oh my God!
Which is March 17th is supposedly the day he died. So they lift Lent restrictions so everybody can eat and drink what they want. So people would just get fucking tanked.
In excess.
Because
because they had been drinking for already 20, 30 days, right?
Exactly. So
wow,
really cool.
Yeah, that is cool. I didn't know that. So I just did really quick 23andMe. I did for Christmas for my dad, and I have 3% Irish blood. So I feel a little bit better about this situation.
I also got it for Christmas, and I have not done it or sent it in yet.
I'm super
interested in it. Yeah, right. I know. I put things off, but I just find that funny.
Oh man. So we could go into that whole rigmarole, but. St. Patty's Day. Thank you for sharing a little bit of the history behind it. I did not ever or assume that had to do with Lent and just lifting those restrictions. So
I didn't know either.
Well, I was cracking up because I read a little bit too, and one of the things he was given credit for was driving the snakes out of Ireland.
Exactly.
And then side note, there are no snakes.
There were never snakes in Ireland.
What?
But he got rid of them. So.
Oh my God.
You'll see that a lot if you just Google him at all. There's pictures of him shooing away snakes. It actually looks really weird.
Clover.
So how's the clover play into it?
The clover was the Holy Trinity. That's how he described the Holy Trinity. Was a clover.
It's its cross shape, if you will.
Yeah.
So what's the fourth if there's a 4-leaf?
There's not. It's not
a stem.
I've seen them before, right?
So 3-leaf is the common kind of clover.
Right.
So so it's a cross.
And that's the Irish shamrock.
And then
one, I don't know.
History, man.
It's kind of funny that the 4-leaf is considered the lucky one, though.
Right.
Oh yeah. See, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm just thinking Lucky Charms.
I had at Hy-Vee earlier. I was getting some last minute supplies. I got napkins and ice. Right.
Yeah.
It rang up as 666. I was I told the cashier that's my lucky number, and he's
my God.
Ooh, and he grabbed his Horcrux or whatever and did sure.
He put in some water. Right?
Yeah.
He drinks himself.
He kind of looked at me weird. I'm like, bro, Mark of the Beast, baby. Let's go. All right, y'all. We got lots of people barreling in here. It's gonna be a fat ass house of friends. But yeah, so thank you for listening to EZPZ episode 69. Super jazzed to have Andrew and Colin on. What the heck? Out of nowhere, Colin. Andrew, thank you for coming early. I know you probably have a lot to do before you're about to get obliterated. But
yeah, I got hours of prep to do. No, I'm ready to go. I'm surprised I haven't drank yet.
Yeah. I asked everybody if they wanted alcohol before the show. We all were like, no, we gotta do some water. Gotta do a water thing.
We're gonna be responsible.
So, Andrew, where can they find you on the internets?
Oh man, just never under assault allegations. I'm 5mint4 on Instagram. My nickname's Smitty, so that's where that comes from. Hit me up.
Okay, can you say that again one more time?
5mint4, MITT4.
If you're on YouTube right now, it should already be up there for you. So 5mint4 on Instagram. Thank you. Colin, do you have any outlets that you want to share? Anything you want to plug for?
No, if you want to find me on Facebook, you can't. Sorry, or online, you can't. I have a Facebook. That's about it. Not really big on the self-advertising thing. I will say I'm glad we can all feel cultural now while we get wasted and shit-faced.
Yeah, exactly.
We're even telling people at the bar, did you know there was no snakes?
No more snakes. Nick, where can they find you?
Instagram, bazooka_Nick. Nick Gandy Art on Facebook. Nick Gandy on SoundCloud.
Yes, and Nick's Mix. So did you finish your Nick's Mix 12 for today?
I actually changed it up a little bit.
Okay.
Instead of doing a bi-weekly now, I'm just going to go to a monthly and do a big one.
Okay.
What we did before.
Sure.
It was just too much to keep pumping them out.
Yeah, dude, everyone's hungry for the Nick's Mixes. All the fun.
But I actually do have a St. P's playlist ready to go.
Yes. Okay. I was hoping that Lydia was gonna get in on that and like ask for it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to bug you too much. I know you got a lot going on. But you can find me at Shaun S. Johnson. You can find the EZPZ at TheEZPZ, TheEZPZ.com. I might be linking my eBay store to that, so you can support me by buying my junk. Because, spring cleaning and stuff. But yeah, I gotta fund some more equipment, and we want to get a fourth mic up in here. Yeah. So yeah, you can have an ever rotating third and fourth chair. So yeah, thank you for joining us. We're about to go enjoy ourselves. This has been the EZPZ Podcast, episode 69. We out. Yeah. Cheers.